completed the ring, the retaining ring. Next is going to be the anchor plate and pin. They're made out of mild steel. Okay, and this is a top view of this. Okay, and here there's going to be 2 set screws, right? And this is the pin, and the pin steel, the pin, right here. And if you follow it down, it's right here. Okay, it's a 1/4 inch in diameter, and it's 5/8 plus a 1/4. It's a press fit. Okay, so I'm probably either going to make it bang on or 1 thou interference fit, and then I'm going to press it in my press. This is 1.5, and they got precision down to the thousandths of an inch on the picture. So this is going to be what the retainer ring we made is going to be holding on, holding in place against. In back here, you're going to see the ratcheting system with the 12 cogs on it, or the 12 notches. Okay? And right here, there's a pin, another pin. It's not going to be pressed. These are threads, right? 1/4 inch BSF. Now, I have no idea what BSF is. I'm going to have to check it out. This is British. This is off of British plans, right? So, I believe so. So, whatever this is, I might just make it a thread that I can actually have a tap for already. And I would probably use fine instead of coarse. Because fine gives you more gripping power, not necessarily stronger, but more gripping power, and more control over how much torque you would put. Like a 1/4 of a turn on a fine thread and a 1/4 of a turn on the coarse thread. Well, you might be talking 10-20 thou difference of compression. You know, so you're better off with a fine thread if you can do it. This slot here, I don't have a measurement for it. I know that the radius from the center of that slot is 3/8. From the center of this, 1 7/8. To the pin, 1 1/2, and from the end of the 1 7/8, you have 1 3/4. That's the total length of that slot. But I have no idea what the width is. I'm going to check that out. It's a 1/4 of an inch. Okay. So from here to here, one 1/4 of an inch. So let's get started. So I've already cut from a piece of stock I had, which is a 1/2 inch thick by is it 2 1/4? Okay, I cut that a little bit longer than that's around 5 inches long there, but I have to take some off the height to bring it down to 2 inches, because my jaws on my vise only go up to 2 inches. That's the maximum gripping power they have, or 2 1/10. Okay, so I'm going to slice them off the top and slice some off the bottom. Then I'm going to be taking some off the thickness, bringing it down to 1/4 inch. So I finally got my boring bar in here, and the problems I was having was the drawbar would bottom out on top of the arbor, or the the arbor, before I could actually tighten up the drawbar. So I had to remove some material off the drawbar. I removed maybe 20 thousandths, a little bit more. It was just borderline, but it wasn't tight. At some points I could start spinning this around and the quill would stay still. Okay, so what you want to do is tighten these slightly. These actually control the slack in the dovetail. Okay, your adjustment is over here, and it says over here it's 1 division is 1 thou. Okay, so if you lower your bar, right, and you actually lower it, like when I don't have a power feed on this machine. I'm gonna have to bring it down by hand on the macro adjustment. And on this one, every division is 1/1000th of an inch. Same scenario. So you tighten down your, you got to tighten this down, and I'm going to feed down to where I'm far enough, okay, and then I'm just going to keep on tightening this screw till I actually get a scratch mark on the back side of this. And here is the screw. Okay, it's gonna keep on tightening down. Maybe I over tightened these. It's going a little bit rough, hard. That wasn't tight at all. Maybe this one's tight. Nope. So, as soon as I can scratch off, put my laser neutral. Now, my boring bar isn't in properly. It's not, I gotta readjust the position of that. Be right. Sort of wish that was power feed. You guys who have power mills have no idea how lucky you are. Well, I guess you do, but these little manual mills, they're okay for learning purposes, but yeah, let's see what I got. Well, there's a learning curve to these. You gotta make sure your bar is rigid, your boring bar, and if it's a carbide, you gotta make sure it's sharp. And the one I'm using now has 1 or 2 thou deflection in it, because if I take 15, I end up taking 13 off. So, and that accumulates, right? You're always dragging that 2 along, and it comes 4, 5, and then it starts cutting into it, and it doesn't seem to want to cut decent. Well, I shouldn't say decent's the wrong word. If the bar was rigid, it's fine. But just to take off anything like between 10 and 15, it won't do. If you try 20, it may do it, depending on your depending on what kind of grind you have on your boring bar or your bit. Okay. And I've been taking off 1 full revolution is 40, is 50 thou. Yeah, 50 thou. And it does take it off. I'm going to measure it now to see what it is, and I'm going to do a 50 thou pass, see what happens. Now maybe you're not supposed to go big passes with this, I'm not sure. I'm not used to boring bars. So, just going to take a quick measurement here. I don't have a mic that does more than 1 inch, so I have to rely on this, which is not going to be as accurate. $22.70. Repeatability $22.70. $22.70. Let's see what it does on 1 full turn. And I think I've already complete. No, I didn't do it yet. I didn't adjust it. Okay, let's take 1 full turn, which is 50 thou, approximately 50 thou. If you don't let it chatter, it works well, but if it starts to chatter, you're either feeding too hard or I had 2070, 2270. I had 2270 and I have 2770 now. So it took 50 thou off. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Well, piece is done. And I took it out of the vise, and I regret it because the fit is so darn tight. I could have taken off another thou or two, but it's kind of hard to do. That thing is accurate. The boring head is accurate, but you got to be at least taking off like 4 to 5 thou, even 10 thou bringing it down 10 thou, but a spring pass, it doesn't dig in. So I'm left with hitting this with some sandpaper maybe. It might come around, but that is tight. Oh well. Sorry for the lighting. I gotta put 1/4 28 tread in there on that pinhole and that center punch tab. Okay. Eyeball it first. Oh, right from the back of my head. I think I'm on it right there. I'm not sure. Looks like it right there. Alrighty. Center punch, center drill it. Okay, remove this collet. Get a drill. Chuck. For now, gotta put a slot in here, 1/4 inch wide. It looks like 1.5 inches long, approximately. December, 12:30 noon, and 6 days to New Year's. Yesterday I actually got this, and this done, okay, but I never got the holes put in here. And these holes are screws that actually hold down a little plate with a piece of supposed to be a number 16 piano wire, but it's going to be number 15. That's all I could find. There's 1 thou or 2 thou difference. So how much that's going to affect spring action? Probably not a whole lot. And yeah, today I'm going to mill this flat or take a chunk out of it with a grinding, a hand grinder. Do the same thing here, and I'm going to leave the one in the bottom so I have a reference for these holes. And once they're done, I'm going to cut out the bottom part. Okay, so you have to do that in that order. If the bottom's still on there, I have a perpendicular plane to put these holes in, and they're threaded, right? Okay, so let's get started. Oh, I'm going to be charging my battery, so I don't know how much footage I'm going to get of this. Well, this is it so far. And I've drilled these 2 holes. I've made them number 6s. And, oh, I flattened out this part. I was sure that I scribed this from this surface up. Right, and when I put this in my vise, I'm not aware that my vise is anything but square, but yet this end where my finger seems thinner than this side, so something wasn't square. That's all there is to it. So when I put it like this, maybe it was tilting. Or maybe it wasn't, you know. Or it had to be. It had to be tilting. Or unless I'm off in this direction, which is probably the case. I'm going to check that for square. But I've made them, instead of making them 6 British Association threads, 6BA, they are number 6s, and they are National Course 32. A 6BA is 110 thousandths OD, major diameter. And a number 6 standard thread is 135 thousandths. So obviously, as you can tell, the guy who made the plans for this was a British tool maker.